So to pick up where we ended, this is our PPF, right? This curve which is concave to O, and the highest points are OY and OX, which are directly taken from the Edgeworth box that we have drawn. And if we take the amount of output that is being produced at each and every point of the contract curve and map it in this XY plane, then we will have this concave PPF, production possibility frontier. Possibility means each and every point on this PPF, each and every point on this PPF shows different choice of X and Y, okay? Different choice of X and Y that can be made by the economy. So it can produce at a point like this one, or it can produce at a point like this one. All right. So we have these possibilities. Now, why frontier? Frontier basically means that beyond this, any and every point is unattainable. Okay. So given that we have plotted the efficient points, we define PPF in this manner. It is the locus of all Pareto efficient outputs. That's an abbreviation of mine. Definitely it's not standard. So locus of all Pareto efficient outputs, given resource K naught and L naught, as I just said, that here this is the amount of resource that limits or fixes our attention span, and obviously state of technology, because we have isoquants, right? Okay, so given this structure, we'll just move to something else, which is called product transformation curve, which is another name for the PPF. So product transformation curve. Generally, we say this, we don't use this kind of an acronym PTC, we do not use that because we are not much interested in this name of product transformation curve, unlike here in the name that is PPF. In product transformation curve, in this calling, we are interested more in its slope. Okay. And the reason we are interested in slope of this PPF or this transformation curve is very simple. You see, it is called a transformation curve because if I want to move from a point like this, let's say x1, producing x1 and y1, to a point like this one, let's say this is, let's just denote some point. Okay. So giving an arrow here is a little bit difficult. So to a point like this, which let's say this B. So this says that I have to sacrifice this amount of y from y1 to y0. So I have to reduce y in order to produce more x, right? And from this idea, from this phenomenon comes this word transformation. So moving from one point to another, we are transforming y into x or vice versa. All right, depends on the direction in which we are moving. All right, now the slope here is important, and we'll see how. See, a choice among different levels of production of two goods is basically a choice of allocating your fixed amount of natural resources. And the slope of this transformation curve basically gives us that information. That's why it is so important. It is also important in the sense that this slope allows us to connect production with consumption. It allows us to connect, okay? Because uh, we will draw another diagram and we'll see that unlike the earlier diagram, the Edgeworth box, where we have it has been possible only to allow the ratio of input prices, that is WIR. In this diagram, we will be able to include price ratio, which will connect this and whatever we have done in consumption. Okay, so slope. So that's why this negative of the slope of PTC has a name, and it's called marginal rate of transformation, MRT. This is something in which we are very much interested. So what is MRT? Negative of the slope of PPF. Okay. So that gives a precise idea of sacrifice. Now, we have here a concave to the origin PPF. And what does it tell us about the MRT? It is concave, or PPF is concave, and it is downward sloping. So this means here we have increasing MRT. Right? Okay. And because this line OX and OY as OX OY curve is concave, the set below is convex. Okay. So that occurs by that happens by definition, right? But the fact that this set is finite, it is limited within these three ends O, OX, and Y, that is guaranteed by our fixed resources. Now we will move into something called factor intensity, a topic which will be more clear when you will be studying international trade. So what is factor intensity? It basically says this. To understand it very simply, consider you are producing some product, okay? Or even it is appropriate for any kind of construction work. Factor intensity tells about how much, whether it uses more labor or more capital. Now, for the same industry, it can differ. To give you a very crude example, these constructions of these flyovers here, okay, if you consider the way it is constructed in India, then it is labor intensive. So the technology uses more labor. It is labor oriented, and obviously something that is labor intensive will definitely take more time. Now, if you talk about this kind of construction in China, then that is very much capital intensive. So it takes less time. So you don't have to wait, let's say, for 6 or 7 years, or maybe more. Okay, you don't have to, think every time when will it be complete. Now, it involves some kind of a separate discussion of a separate direction, whether which one is good to use and all. But for the time being, since we are in micro, we will be interested in a very different thing. It is this contract curve stores the information about factor intensity. Okay, about factor intensity. Now we'll move into that, but before that, before going into this, why suddenly I'm talking about factor intensity? It's because you see, even when production function follows CRS, so even when production function follows CRS, okay, if factor intensity differs from the production of X to Y, it can produce a concave PPF. The moment I'm saying that it is CRS, you may think that okay, CRS means we'll have a straight line. The point I'm making here is that it is not the case. Okay, we can have a concave PPF just because we have different factor intensities, and that comes directly from how the factor intensity, the point of factor intensity, affects the shape of contract curve. But before going into that, I'll just mention that this dotted straight line which connects OX and OY, okay, this dotted straight line signifies equal factor intensities. Equal factor intensities. Okay. So when we have that, then it will have a straight line. And remember that the efficient line, this is important, that the efficient line or efficient locus, efficient curve probably. Okay. Let's just say always lie above this. Okay. So just let me come back or make a summary of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: even when production function is CRS, it's not true that we will have a PPF which is linear. A linear PPF is only possible when we have equal factor intensity and differing factor, and our efficient curve, or the if we draw a map from contract curve, then it will always lie above this line, this line. You know, I can give you a homework. You can try that. The homework is basically very simple. It is this: if you take standard Leontief function, okay, if I say that the isoquants are following this function, so y equal to minimum of k comma l, and rather ky and ly, and if x equal to minimum of kx comma lx, okay, if you start with this, then you will get a PPF which will be a straight line, because the resulting contract curve from these two production functions, right? These are production functions. So resulting production functions from this line, if you try an Edgeworth box, okay, then you will see that it will be a straight line, and from that you will have here a straight line. Anyways, but what I'm saying here is that that's how factor intensity is important. Now we are going to look at two diagrams which will signify, which will have two different contract curve. One contract curve which will connect to the capital intensive work or capital intensive production, and the other will relate to labor intensive. Now, to start with, the Edgeworth box that we have drawn, that is drawn for a capital intensive production. So you can easily guess what will happen when production is labor intensive? Okay. So I'll just draw a simplistic structure. So this was our contract curve earlier, right? So this refers to capital intensive. And here we will have another diagram with the same labels, that is same names. And here we will have the contract curve as this one. And the apparent symmetry, it tells you everything. Okay. Now, I said that if I bring in perfect competition in this picture, then that allows me to bring in prices. Now, we are interested in connecting that because, as I said, that in consumer exchange model, we have started with, we work with production, produced goods, which there we consider to be fixed in supply, and the price ratio. So let us find that given PPF gives us a huge number of choices, which one will we produce? And you will see in that derivation that MRT plays a huge role. And it's, guessing it is very simple. It's because MRT gives us the amount of Y that has to be sacrificed to increase the production of X by a very small unit. Now, that gives us the physical reality of moving from a different production bundle of X and Y to another. And prices, they tells us, the relative price tells us the kind of bundle producing which is good, because it will kind of satisfy the requirements that are generated in the structure of consumption, in the consumption model. So we'll be doing the case of product mix after this, and there it will be clear. Okay. So let's do that derivation. It's a bit long, but it's simple. Okay. So by definition, our MRT is basically negative of the slope of PPF. Right? So this is slope of PPF, not just any other curve. And that itself will play a role. You will see that. Now, we have two products. So MCX, that is basically DCX dx, right? And MCY, which is our DCY dy. And now, if I take a ratio, then MCX by MCY, it becomes DCX DCY into dy dx. That's simple, and that also says that here we have, here somehow this term, here we will introduce our slope of MRT. Now, let's take a look at the cost of producing X. The standard structure is this one. Right? Inputs with their prices. So differentiating this, we'll get this. And similarly, for Y, we'll get this structure. Now here, we will insert the fact that we are on PPF. But just before that, so from these two, we have an expression for this ratio. And that expression is this: dCx dCy equal to, we are just going to write it here. Now, we are on the PPF. Now, this means that the underlying sum of resources that is fixed. And that means, since we have fixed resources, that is Lx and Ly will sum up to some L naught, this holds true. And similarly, this dkx minus dky, that also holds true. Now, if I substitute these two in here, that gives me basically -1, right? Okay. Now, if I take this -1 and I put it in place of dCx divided by dCx dCy, then I'll get my favorite expression here. And that expression is that the ratio of marginal costs is essentially the MRT. This is a very powerful result. And this is readily understandable because we are talking about sacrificing in infinitesimal units. So it is intuitive that the change in cost due to infinitesimal change, they will behave accordingly. So intuitively, we can see that this will be happening. And this is our derivation. Now we will see the fruit of assuming perfect competition. So now in this structure, if I assume perfect competition, it will tell me that, so perfect competition will tell me that MCX equal to PX and MCY equal to PY, which will give me an even powerful result. So if I substitute this, here, okay, then I will get an even powerful result. It will say that MRT will equal the price ratio when two things are working in the system. So number one is efficiency. Remember, we are on PPF, so efficiency is guaranteed, Pareto efficiency. And number two is our perfect competition. So combining these two, we will see that MRT will equal price ratio in equilibrium. And this is the result that will give us the general equilibrium of production. So let's draw the diagram. And the diagram is pretty simple because we have already drawn PPF. So you're just going to add the price ratio. Remember this, MRT is coming from an efficiency idea of production, right? It is connected to the technology, it is connected to the available resources and everything. And this price ratio, this comes from perfect competition. So related to this is the auctioneer's view, right? Now, what kind of product combination will be produced? Because that was our question when we started with production. So the answer to this question, that the general equilibrium of production, where will this appear? The diagram that I'm going to draw will give us the answer. So here we have X and Y. We are drawing the PPF again, right? So for X, we have OY, and for Y, we have OX. OX, right? Okay. And so where will be the equilibrium? To get it, draw the price ratio. That is definitely not a straight line. Okay. All right. Okay. So I've got it. So here at E, this gives us minus of the slope of this is basically minus of Px by Py, right? And the slope of PPF at E is basically minus of MRT. Or if I talk it in this term, MRT is basically negative of minus dy dx, correct? And to that I equal the slope of price line, and this gives us MRT equal to Px by Py. And this equality, as we just saw, this equality gives me the equilibrium point. So here I am getting it equilibrium, the amount of X naught and Y naught being produced. The Edgeworth-Box diagram that is in the background of this PPF will give me the allocation of labor and capital, which are connected to the production of this amount X naught and Y naught. And I will take this X naught and Y naught and I will make another Edgeworth-Box diagram considering two consumers, and there I'll see that things will match because the price ratio remains same in production and consumption. So the consideration of perfect competition simplifies our struggle a lot. Just because we assume perfect competition and we can say that we have this kind of a price ratio which is taken as given, this itself allows us very easily to connect, right? Because from the earlier discussion, we have seen that the MRS is the MRS of each individual, that will equal this price ratio, and this price ratio also equals MRT. So the job is done.